I just fed my ginger and my turmeric. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I'm going to have another one coming out on how you can eat your ginger and turmeric and grow it too. And this way, if you hit the like and subscribe and you hit the bell, you'll be notified the second it comes up. Okay, now let's get into how I'm growing so much from the small amount I had in the beginning. What do you think of all the ravens, Kitty? Are they scaring you? Hi everybody, it's Robbie from Southern California. I want you to see this. I have dozens of ravens here. Look at that. They're up in my palm tree. Can you see that? They've been hanging around for days and they don't technically want anything I've got. Oh, they're huge. What they're doing is they're raiding a lot of the avocado trees that are here. Look at them. They're beautiful. They haven't touched anything in my garden, but they're going around and they're collecting avocados and they are just dropping them everywhere. Look at this. Trying to get some stuff done before it gets too hot. We're supposed to be well over 100 degrees today, so we'll see. It's already warm. I'm trying to edit my video on ginger and turmeric. Let's walk over there real quick, see if I can get that together. I'm trying to figure out, my dilemma is where I'm going to start putting it all, because I figured out the best way to grow ginger and turmeric. I figured out how to grow it with, look at that. Oh, more's coming up right now. I have a different way of planting it, though the old way is perfect by putting the tubers or the rhizomes, I should say, in there. But there's another way of doing it too, where you can actually eat it and then you can grow it. So I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put it because see, this is early morning sun and in the next couple hours it gets no sun. So that's my dilemma, is where am I going to put it? I was going to put it on the table here, but that really works perfect for walking onions. Those are baby walking onions there. So I'm thinking, nah, and the reason is, see how that is shaded? Wow, and they're flying all over the ravens. And this is sunny. Well, in about an hour or so, this won't have any sun. So it gets really good, strong morning sun. And yeah, it still got burned when we had those hot days. I just have to trim that off and put it back and do that. But it is just, they're packed. They're packed. They're so packed, they're bending up. Look at the beautiful green ginger. They're absolutely so packed in there that they're bending some of the containers that are a little flexible. So I'm just trying to figure out where to put it. Now that's good, but that actually gets more sun than this area. So I'll figure it out. I cannot believe how much is in there. I cannot believe this is all new. Some of these are new, I should say, where I started growing them. So I just have to figure out a good area. They don't like late afternoon sun, especially when it's hot. I had another area I was growing them in the shade that was quite good. I won't be doing a harvest yet on these. And the reason is, let me show you exactly why I will not do a harvest on these. I'm hoping you can see it because I can't see my screen. See how that is? That's green. Now, yes, I can pull this out, cut off what I want to use and eat, and then I could directly put it right back in parts of it that I have not eaten. The reason I'm not going to harvest this right now is it's not ready. If I harvested it now and tried to store it, they may not store to replant later on in the spring is what it is, because it's green ginger, they're small, they're white. What's going on right now is these plants are pulling soon, I should say. They'll be pulling all the nutrients, everything to store in the rhizomes. Because in the winter, ginger and turmeric dies back. If you harvest it too early, you can eat it, you can freeze it, absolutely, but you may not be able to get to full potential to grow it later if you're going to replant it, store it somewhere and replant it, because the rhizomes haven't stored enough for the winter. It's kind of like a bear going out and eating everything they can, and they put on that extra fat, and then they go off and sleep in some areas for whatever length of time they have to until the weather gets better. Well, it's the same thing with this. This needs to store everything and all its energy into the rhizomes. And right now it's not. All the energy is going into the leaves, the beautiful green foliage. So I wait until it does a real die-off. This isn't. This is just browning that you see from the real hot days we've had in heat waves, where the edges of the leaves, see how this got brown? Now, if this was all over on the leaves and the new leaves and these leaves were all edged in brown, then I could go back and think, there might be too many minerals like salt in the water, and I might be hitting it with water. Let's say my water has too many minerals of salt, then the plant will pull up the salts, and it could cause an edging of brown. And then you can fix that, by the way. When you water, you do a full flush. So the water goes into the containers and comes right out. So you're washing everything out. But being that it's only, if you look, it's only certain leaves, that's because on that particular day we had a heat wave, and that's when the problem occurred, because it got burned. And now that the heat wave was over, see, all the new foliage is coming in beautiful and green. I don't know what's going to be today, because they're calling for massive heat for the next couple days, and we could go through it again, but it's not going to hurt the plant. I mean, I could cut it off with a scissors if I wanted it to look really nice, or I just leave it. I'm just going to leave it, because right now we're in the middle to end September. Come October, if we're warm, this will continue to grow. A lot of mine don't die back until November, December. Once it turns brown, the leaves, it stops putting out new growth. There will be no more new growth. That's the best time to start to harvest it. I can leave them here like I did last year. I left a lot of them last year, and it will just sit here fine as long as it's not waterlogged. Rain is fine as long as there's good drainage. But if the soil stays spongy wet, you could end up losing some of the rhizomes in there because they could rot. If you fear that, you're in an area where that could happen, then pull them out, wrap them in, let's say, newspaper or something, and just put them away somewhere and use the ones you want to use. And then come spring, you can replant them. Or we've actually planted some in pots, took it all apart, got rid of all the brown foliage, and then replanted it in pots and put it in the house. And they grew that way. Small shoots all spring until I put them outside. So there's different ways of doing it, but no, I will not harvest this in any way. None of these are ready to harvest unless I want some to eat. And if Gary wants some turmeric, then I could just pull some turmeric out, cut off what I want, and put it back. But it hasn't gone back and did what it needs to do by nature. Nature is telling it, hey, the weather's still good. So look at all the new growth. As long as it's still growing all this new growth, then it hasn't put the energy back into the rhizomes, and they won't be, let's say, your turmeric. Our turmeric is beautiful, rich orange, because I wait and it goes all back in. My ginger, when it's ready, see, it's white right now. When it's ready, it's going to be a rich yellow, and that's because it puts all the energy and everything back. So that's the right time to really do a true full harvest, is when it's all starting to die back and it's not putting out any more new growth in your area. Now, of course, if you're in the tropics, it could just keep going and going unless it's too wet. And sometimes too wet causes a problem. So that's it. I think that's it for today, but I am going to put together, I'm working on my video on how I am now growing all this new turmeric. And this is just starting. See, they got burned by the sun. Here's a new one. See, it's still growing. Look at all back there. It's still growing. All this new growth, see? It's still growing. So we're going to let it do its thing. This one is packed. Look at all the new growth. So this is definitely not ready for harvest, not here in Southern California. And then this is all grown in which is the new way. See all the new growth? That I'm growing it now, so you can grow it that way as well. And I'll show you step by step what you can do so you can eat it and grow it too. And I'll show you really here. I didn't even know. See the watermelon? No, that's not it. I don't know if you can see, but there's another watermelon all the way back there in the corner. I had no idea. I looked and looked, and I thought, oh, that watermelon plant didn't throw a watermelon. It did. So I'm going to, oh, there's more. I'm going to have to hunt through and see what's in there. There's only 2 plants in there. So that's it. So I thought I would share that with you. So if you are growing turmeric and ginger, and you are in Southern California or in an area where it hasn't started to frost yet, wait to do a full harvest as soon as you see the leaves are no longer producing new growth, and that it is done, and putting all its energy back into the tubers. It will draw everything back. The tubers will get bigger, they'll get bolder, they'll get stronger, and then they'll store really good all winter until spring. So I think I'm going back to work. I have a lot to do. I'm going to get some work done before it gets too hot, before the sun is directly above me. And have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. And he's saying bye-bye.